So this is part 3 of the video. I apologize once again. As I was recording, the phone fell off of the stand. So going back to Dr. Sarno's description of personality types, I can be a little obsessive and perfectionist. So I had to make the disclaimer and explain to you guys what happened. It was a simple mistake. The phone fell down. So I'm recording part 3 of this video. So basically, yeah, I entered a real golden age. I entered a renaissance. I never thought that it was about a year after, almost a year after the diagnosis of fibromyalgia and IBS, that I would be in such a great place in my life. And just reading Dr. Sarno's books and watching the testimonials, it really helped me in my conditions and the issues that I had, and the pain disappeared. My IBS disappeared, and the cool thing is I didn't have to stay with my family anymore. I didn't have to stay with my cousin. I actually found a full-time job that pays really well, making more money than I did back in Florida, and I was able to make enough money to move out, and I got my own apartment with me and my friend, and we live in a really great part of San Diego. And I have a life that I never imagined in a million years. I have a life that I couldn't imagine being in the darkness. A year prior, I didn't know that life could be this good, and this is the thing too. I didn't realize at the time. When I was diagnosed with IBS, and I was going through the issue with the antibiotic, and 2016 in Orlando, Florida, it was a really hard time in my life back then. There was a lot of emotional pain I was going through back then, and it makes a lot of sense now. I broke up with my boyfriend at the time of 6 years in 2016. And when I broke up with him, it was very hard because we had a very long relationship, and it was very abusive. It was an abusive relationship in many ways. And not only did I break up with him, but I also broke up with his family. I was very close to his mom and his dad, and I had to cut my relationship with them because I was no longer with this person. So that was emotionally draining as well, and that explains a lot. That's why I went through so much at that time in 2016. And also, being a gay man in Orlando in 2016, that was the year of the Pulse shootings, which was traumatizing. I mean, you could not, I don't care where you were in the country, you could not change a channel without seeing, the Pulse shootings and all the people that were killed in the Pulse shootings. And I know people that were affected by that. And come to think of it now, like that is very traumatizing to the subconscious mind. And the emotions of the breakup with my boyfriend, that affects the subconscious mind. And I had a horrible childhood. Come to think of it, I had a really bad childhood. I was abused as a child in many ways. And it makes sense that I just, 2016 was a year where my reservoirs just exploded of emotion. And if you don't find ways to take care of those emotions, then they're going to spill over into your body. They're going to spill over into other parts of your body in many different forms. It could be back pain, it could be IBS, it could be fibromyalgia, it could be tension headaches, it could be foot pain, you name it. I mean, it could acne. I hear even cancer is related to mind body. So, a way to deal with these negative emotions is the key here. And I started journaling, and I started excavating layers of negativity and abuse and just really bad events in my life. And I just started journaling and writing stuff down and putting it on paper. And it gives you a chance to make peace with these feelings, and it kind of lets your mind know, hey, these really bad things that happened to me in my life, they're not going to kill me. It's okay. This is not a fight or flight moment. You know, I'm writing I was writing about my childhood. You know, I was sexually abused in a foster home when I was 9 years old, and that was a very painful experience. Which, by the way, I mean, this is just my own theory. Going back to the statistics on fibromyalgia, they say that fibromyalgia affects women more than men, which makes a lot of sense because little girls are the statistics say that little girls are molested way more often than little boys, about 4 times more than little boys. So the fact that women grow up with this pain, and it kind of if you put the puzzle pieces together, you know, why women suffer more from fibromyalgia than men, that could possibly be a reason why, because women are more prone to those type of things when they're little girls. Now, I'm not saying that everyone that suffers from fibromyalgia has, you know, been sexually abused as a child. I'm not saying that at all, but there is definitely a connection there. So my life got better. I'm happy to say, and I was just grateful to God. Really, I'm grateful to God, and I'm grateful for God for making Dr. Sarno and for giving him the information that he had, and just, you know, he saved so many people, including me. And thank you, Dr. Sarno. And I was just very happy in my life. I started a new job. I moved out. I got an apartment. I didn't have to depend on my family anymore. Me and my friend we got an apartment together in a really good part of San Diego. I have a really great job. I don't have to rely on anybody. I don't have to depend on anybody. I don't have to feel like I'm an invalid or thinking about ways to get on disability. I don't need to get on disability. I'm fine. I have no physical restrictions. I have no dietary restrictions. I can eat whatever I want. No more gluten-free, no more sugar-free, no more organic. And trust me, I'm not encouraging unhealthy eating habits at all. I'm just saying that I'm set free from all the restrictions and diet restrictions, and I don't have these shackles and rules to abide by. I can eat whatever I want and do whatever I want, and I can travel. And in California, you know, people go hiking here. They go to the beach. They go to Vegas. They go to Mexico. I can do whatever I want with my friends anytime I want. I'm really happy, and I was doing so well, and then in last year I was actually riding a scooter through San Diego, and I was riding through a neighborhood in San Diego, and as I was crossing a street, a Toyota Tacoma truck ran into me. It's not funny, but the truck slammed into me and knocked me way up in the air. I woke up in an ambulance. They cut my clothes off my body. My friend was in the ambulance truck with me, and I remember waking up and I asked him, I was like, what happened? You know, where am I? What's going on? He's like, oh my gosh. He's like, Joey, you got hit by a truck. You were on a scooter and you got hit by a truck. And I knew I was in for it. I already knew that I had a long road ahead of me. So I just passed out again, and then I woke up in the hospital bed, and the doctor came in the room and told me, hey, listen, you know, you were hit by a truck, but miraculously, we've run x-rays on you, we've run all kinds of tests on you, and you have no broken bones at all. You have not broken one bone, and there's no internal bleeding, and it's a miracle. We don't know how that happened, but the truck hit you, and you don't have any broken bones. You don't have internal bleeding. You just suffered a mild concussion, which is miraculous. But at the time, as he was talking to me, I had excruciating pain all over my chest and my back, and my wrists, and I couldn't move my neck left or right. I was completely stiff, and I was panicking because I'm like, oh my gosh, I fought fibromyalgia, and you know, all these pain issues in the past. Is this going to come back? I started panicking. I started freaking out. I'm like, oh gosh, you know, not again, not again, not again, you know. And I started to panic, and then I calmed myself down. I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. The doctor said I had no broken bones. The doctor said that there's nothing physically wrong with me. So there's no kind of physical reason for anything. There's no physical explanation for anything for this pain that you're going through right now. So I immediately suspected TMS. This is a TMS issue. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna back off the TMS thing for now. I just got hit by a truck. Let me give myself a few weeks to heal from this. Because then I'll know, you know, after I've given myself enough time to just rest from this accident, that I can determine what's going on here. So that's what I did. I went home and I was on bed rest for a while, and for a couple weeks. I took a couple weeks off my job, and I noticed that the pain was there, and it was intense, and it was in my chest, and my wrists, and my back, and it was pretty intense. And I just held on, and I'm like, okay, well, I was in a truck accident. I'm gonna give myself some time. And then I noticed, like about the third, fourth week, towards about the end of the month, I noticed that the pain disappeared in my chest and my wrists, and it started going down into my leg. And that's when I rolled my eyes, and I was like, okay, we all know what this is. This is TMS. So I started journaling about the experience about getting hit by the truck, and it made sense to me. It started to click. And the little 5-year-old subconscious part of my brain, at the time of the accident, I was on the scooter, and imagine being a 5-year-old little kid being on a scooter and seeing this big monstrous truck come towards you. I mean, of course you're gonna freak out, you're gonna panic, you know. So that, if that's not a fight or flight response, I don't know what is. So that explains it. You know, that's why my brain was causing me to have all this pain in my wrists and my chest, even though there was nothing structurally wrong with me. And they did x-rays, and they checked my body with all kind of scans in and out. They couldn't find anything wrong with me. It made a lot of sense. My brain was trying to protect me from the experience, from the thoughts of that event, by causing me to have pain, so that I can get over that trauma, or be distracted from whatever it is that, you know, hit me. So it made a lot of sense. And as soon as I journaled and I got this out of me, I swear to you, within a couple days, maybe 48, 72 hours, I don't know, I wasn't counting, but the pain just started to subside, and it started to disappear. And that, I never felt so powerful in that moment in my life. Because not only had I beat TMS in 2016 in Florida, I had beat TMS in California with this truck accident in 2018. So, you know, I'm making this video now, and I'm TMS free. And, you know, I will say there are times where I'm at work and I'm stressed out, and, you know, I'll get a headache or I'll get back pain. But it's not the end of the world. You know, I work through it, and